I am Dan Harder, and I have the privilege of being the leader of Middle East Ministries, Light to Israel. From a very young age, I had interest in the Jewish people, and as God called me to be a missionary in Latin America as a young boy, I wondered how all that fit in. And how it fits in is this: along the way, as I became a church planter in South America and Colombia, every step of the way, as a student, I was involved with Jewish Ministries. I worked for a wonderful Jewish family in a furniture business. And then as I went off to language school in Costa Rica, getting ready to speak Spanish and have a ministry starting churches in Bogota, Colombia, I found the synagogue and got to know people there in Costa Rica. And then in Colombia, as we started churches, we needed a house, and I found a place. It just happened to be owned by a Jewish man who was a very important person in the synagogue. And then as the church grew in that house that we bought from him, I have a friend down the street. And yes, it's much bigger, and that ended up being the place that we bought for our church building. But I had great friends, and that I had a chance to share about the Messiah in my time as a missionary with Latin Americans. But in that context, it just never went away, that whole idea of working with Jewish people. So after 28 years of being in Colombia, I came back to the United States, had the privilege of going to Grace Point Church and being the missions pastor. They allowed me to continue to do my work in Latin America, but what a deal. The senior pastor, John Bell, and Roy Schwartz, who was also on staff when I came on staff in 2004, they were all about the Jewish people, and they had started Messianic congregations, and they had this organization called Middle East Ministries, Light to Israel, something that was kind of like a part of the missions program of the church. And about 5 years ago, I became not only the leader of missions at Grace Point, but the leader of Middle East Ministries. And it's been a fantastic journey. My wife and I, we love Israel. We've been to Israel, I don't know, in the last 5 years, maybe 8 times I have been there. And as I have become the leader, not only just taking that role from John Bell as the leader of the mission, but just recently with Larry Jaffrey stepping down from his United States director role, a lot of that responsibility has landed on me. Where are we going? What's our next steps? All this is really good because over the last 5 years with John and with Larry, we've done a major transition. We've always been reaching out to people in the United States so that they would pray for Israel, so that they would know about prophecy and about the feasts and how to pray for contemporary Israel. But also, we want people to know that God is at work planting His church in Israel. And so over the last 5 years, we've been training leaders, and we've been starting relationships with partners there, Israeli partners, that want to start house fellowships. And those house fellowships, God is really blessing in a major way. We're looking for partners that believe in this ministry. And we believe that our ministry is not only to the Jew, but to the Arab. That land, the land of Israel, is the land. It is the promised land. But in that land, it's not just a homogeneous set of people from one nation, Israel, from one part of the world. No, they're from every part of the world. And about 1.5 million of Israeli citizens are Arabs as well. You know, it takes a village to train a child, they say. Well, it takes the people of God to really do the work that God wants to do. He has a plan, and we are committed to His plan, the plan of the gospel, the good news of Jesus Christ that changes hearts, even the most difficult heart. We have great partners in Israel. You are a great partner, and I hope your enthusiasm continues to grow, your prayer, your giving, and your going. And so we look forward to being partners together for His purposes in the land of Israel.